Hey guys, today I have another top 5 video. I like to make these a lot, these list videos. I just never have anything to talk about. But today I've got a good one. So, I've gathered my top 5 most overrated and underrated animatronics over the years, in my opinion. And I've listed the top 5 most underrated and the top 5 most overrated animatronics. So, without further ado, let's get into it. All right, starting off strong here. Now, I'm well aware this is going to ruffle some feathers, but I don't care for Ringmaster all that much. I know a lot of people really like him, but I don't, and that's why I think he's overrated. He has a cool gimmick, but it really doesn't look all that great. It's just unique. There really isn't that much to say about him other than I think he looks kind of mid. Uh, he's tall, which is kind of cool, I guess, but in my opinion, I don't think it warrants the regard that he's being held in this year. I think he's pretty average, but people treat him like he's great. But he's okay. All right, I'm gonna try not to let my bias show with this one. I promise. The more violence, scary, zombie stuff. I didn't do too much of that in this, only a little bit. And I think Chin Up Zombie is great. I think that I wish Spirit would do more stuff like this. I think he is actually very scary looking. I think he's pretty sinister. He's got good motion for what he is. He's really like loud, and he's just kind of disturbing to look at, which I dig. I think it's great. He's kind of aesthetics. You guys know I love aesthetics. He's very spooky with it, and he's got good aesthetics. Okay, so I like that a lot about him. And he's scary. There's not much to say about him, but he's scary. I just wish that these things were still around, but since they're so old, older than most people watching this video probably, they're all rotted out, unfortunately. So I have a lot to say about Mr. Punchy, and none of them are good. This thing is probably one of the worst things Spirit's ever made. You guys have seen my previous videos about worst animatronics. He's horrible. He's awful. He's complete horse, dog, shit, whatever. So excuse my French, mon ami, oui oui, or whatever. I don't know. He is terrible. He looks ridiculous. He's completely. I mean, I think he looks retarded. I'll be honest. He is stupid looking, and I hate him. So there's literally no redeeming quality other than because the neon face is kind of cool, but he was overpriced anyways. He would be higher up on the list, but I feel like a lot of people hated this guy as well. He has a lot of fans, and I think those people are probably delusional, but he has a lot of haters as well, which is good because he's the worst thing they've ever made. No, he's not, but he's disgusting. He's abysmal. Cornstalker is one I don't feel as passionately about, but I do think he's objectively really good. He's tall and imposing, but he's not like ridiculously huge to the point where they just don't make him move at all. I think he's one of the best scarecrows they've made, in my opinion. I think he's pretty rad. He's a really interesting character, which is something that Modern Spirit likes to do a lot. So I don't know why they don't just do stuff like this. He's like real dirty and grimy again, which they don't do anymore, which is stupid. But whatever. Um, he's a really cool character, I guess. I love all the detail on him, and I would like to own this guy someday if I ever needed him for anything. One of my favorite scarecrows. With the amount of scarecrows they do every year, they do something like this, but they don't, which is what makes him even cooler. Mr. Dark is another one of those things where I feel like people would hate this guy if he didn't have like some breakthrough technology, right? If he just used like a normal pop-up mech, everybody would be like, "Wow, this is the worst thing Spirit's ever made." And I think just because he's got the cool mech doesn't mean he's a good prop. I think he's stupid. He looks bad. Spirit doesn't know how to make jump scares anymore because they always just, oh, here's this guy sitting. Guess what? Now he moved. Whoa! Instead of just having it be like, oh, here's a thing. Oh, this thing just came out of it. Or like, there's a thing behind this thing and I didn't see it. Now it's scary, right? No, it's just a guy sitting there. This very obviously gonna move dude. You walk by him, he shoots up. Yeah, it's surprising how high he goes. It's kind of scary, but like, first of all, he's really boring. He looks super boring. One of the most generic things you could make for this guy. His name is also stupid. And like they really could have used this technology for better, right? They did actually. Emmeline, who I think is pretty fantastic. Okay, Mr. Dark sucks, because he's expensive and crappy. Like there's nothing cool about him other than his mech, which is shouldn't be the sole, the sole thing, right? His design is really lame. Like I said, Spirit doesn't know how to make jump scares anymore. Riffing off of Mr. Dark, I was actually gonna put this guy at second place because I really like Incinerator and nobody talks about him. But just to show you guys that Spirit doesn't know how to make good jump scares anymore, I have this guy. This is one of my favorite jump scare animatronics they've made. It is so good. It is totally unexpected. You see this cool, this like piece of furniture basically. It's like, wow, what's going on in there? That looks neat, right? The lights going on. There's a thing inside. You look inside, but then you walk by it, the dude pops up. Ah, it's scary. Not like, oh, there's a guy right there. He's gonna move, and then you walk past him, he shoots up. It's sure it's not as impressive, but it's way scarier. It's a way more effective scare. I also just really like the uniqueness on this guy, where they use the uniqueness to its advantage rather than some of them that solely use uniqueness as a factor, which I'll talk about later. And I think I've talked about it a little bit already. I love Incinerator. I think any zombies that have been afflicted by some sort of plight, like I don't know, fire or electricity or disease or water or whatever, they all look good. This is an example of that. I think he's rad, and I wish they'd do more old jump scare stuff like this. So for second worst or second most overrated, not worst, in my opinion, we got Grim. I think because Grim is obviously the worst servo animatronic we've gotten. I mean, in the same year, we got what was his name? The Scarecrow. I don't even remember his name because he's so forgettable. But he was good at least, right? He was a pretty good Scarecrow. Grim, on the other hand, totally just riffing off of, oh, look, Home Depot did a giant skeleton. Now we're going to do a regular size skeleton, but he's going to be cool. And no, he's not cool, Spirit. This thing sucks. He's extremely boring. His motion looks stupid. It doesn't make any sense. He's got a dumb voice. I hate everything about him. There's legitimately nothing good about him because he's just a stupid skeleton and he looks dumb. And he's the worst servo we got. If you want to get a servo, you get Giant Death Ray, which is pretty cool. You could get Lethal Lily or TXT 3000. Those are all really cool. Also, same thing with the Scarecrow that came out that same year that was better than this guy, but probably sold worse just because he's not as generic, so he's too niche. Even though he's a Scarecrow, whatever. Point being, Grim is boring and overrated because people only like him because he's a servo. All right, you guys heard what I said. I like Incinerator more than this guy, but I just wanted to put Incinerator there despite Mr. Dark. Anyways, this guy, he's okay. I actually not no, he's not okay. He's really good. Okay, I'm lying. He's really good. The gore is great. He had a great amount of motion. He's fills a good niche of like I don't know. We don't really get any like specific gore props, so having this was pretty nice. And yeah, he's just. I think I really enjoy this guy. I think he's really cool, and he is pretty freaky because you're looking at it and it's like, oh, this is zombie. He's obviously being tormented. There's rats around. If people are scared of rats, and they're gonna be like, ew, that's disgusting. If people are scared of blood, they're gonna be like, ew, that's disgusting. So either way, I think he fills a good role in any haunt, and yeah, I think he's really cool. And it's sad that Spirit doesn't make gory stuff like this anymore. Wop wop. All right, so this is the most overrated Spirit Halloween animatronic in history, okay, in my opinion. And I know this is gonna piss a lot of people off because a lot of people love Nightcrawler because he's scary. Look at me. No, he is not. No, he's not. His motion is stupid. I want to point that out. I think they could have done something interesting with this kind of idea, but his motion is stupid. I think the only thing that people like about him really is that look at him. He's weird looking. He's weird looking. He's an interesting thing. He's like a zombie guy thing, ghoul thing on all fours, and he's got a big mouth. Okay, big whoop. Big whoop. He looks stupid. He looks dumb. I think he looks like an idiot. He doesn't look as stupid as Mr. Punchy, admittedly, but people like this guy a lot more than they like Mr. Punchy. Justifiably so, first of all. Second of all, he looks dumb. He looks ridiculous. There's absolutely nothing scary about this guy, in my opinion, because he's, again, a terrible example, or another example of terrible jump scares. Look at him. You can obviously tell he's going to move. You go by him, he pops up like half a foot. Ooh, real scary, right? No, it's not. Incinerator's scarier, so this guy sucks. All right, this one I bet a bunch of people have never even heard of before. This is the Witch of Stolen Souls. She's pretty metal. I think she's really cool actually. So she isn't. the I think she's really underrated. Okay, she's not the best in the best overall, but I think she's severely underrated because she is really cool. She's a pretty freaky looking witch. A lot of witches are just really boring looking, but I think she actually looks kind of scary. I also like the design, and then also she's got decent movement, right? I think her idea, right, is she kidnaps children and she steals their souls and puts them and keeps them in her lantern, and that's kind of reflected. You can hear the kids screaming and stuff. It's really freaky. Okay, it's really disturbing and dark, and I like that about it. Okay, it's freaky. And Spirit doesn't do dark stuff like that really at all anymore. So I think that's really cool to have. And yeah, it's just something that's I think is severely overlooked. I think they could make a lot of props better by doing more dark topics like this one. I think if this was just a regular witch with a lantern, it'd be completely boring. But the fact that it's that is terrifying. So yeah, good, overrated, underrated. Sorry. All right, so just some concluding thoughts. First of all, I want to thank everybody for watching. I really appreciate the viewership, especially if you stay to the end. So thank you. You're a G. Secondly, I hope you enjoyed my little bit of my 10, 11 minutes of me rambling about random Halloween junk. So I'd appreciate it if you stick around for more videos if you want to see them. I make a lot of stuff like this. So yeah, thanks and goodbye.